Hello, my name is Esther. I am originally from Michigan. I am a first generation Malayali American and grew up in Michigan all of my life and went to Grand Valley State University for my bachelor's in liberal studies with the emphasis in women and leadership in healthcare. And how I came about that was because I wanted to be a PA, physician assistant, and I had all the prereqs and everything, but it was my senior year of college, some of the classes I took, my women and gender studies courses, really changed my perspective of wanting to empower women and fight the injustices that we face. And now it has come full circle to doing more social justice education of like encompassing all marginalized identities. And so I then got my master's eventually in counseling education at Clemson University, where I worked as a grad assistant at the Multicultural Center for Social Justice Education, where I truly became passionate about dialogue facilitation and being able to talk about our identities and systems of oppression and what can we do to solve these complex problems that oppress people. And so I moved to DC area to work at American University as a AUX instructor and advisor. So I basically teach and advise first year students and about each level, about our internalized level, interpersonal level, and systemic level. So if you breaking down and understanding all of those things, so that way we can understand complex issues and find more solutions to actually solve them and build more empathy and community with each other. The advice I would give my younger self is to love myself more. And trust myself and trust my gut. And the reason why I say this is because growing up as an Indian American, I felt two polarizing sides of my Indian community wanting me to only care about like the communal love and almost to a part where it was like nothing about me. And then my American side was super individualistic, where it's like only love yourself and nobody else. And so what now as I'm growing up, the advice is like find that happy medium balance of communal love and self-love, because then life would be so much more fulfilling if I knew and understood how to balance everything. And my mom always said everything in moderation. And so even when it comes to love, I think there needs to be a balance of communal and self-love. My life mantra is Ubuntu, which is a South African philosophy, meaning I am because we are. That is the most simplest way but it's way more complex and way more beautiful. I've experienced it firsthand when I went to study abroad in South Africa, and it changed my life completely. It was a type of love I've never experienced before. Well, okay, let me change that, because I do think I have experienced that love with my family, with my Indian family, and I would not be here in my life if it wasn't for my family. The amount of love that they poured into my life, because I could have gone a lot of different ways. And so I truly believe Ubuntu is something that can change all of our lives and should be felt by everybody. So, how I deal with fear, doubt, and obstacles that sabotage my confidence. That is something I'm doing on the daily. I think this life, lots of that come into our life, and I think sometimes our society is rooted in these things to keep us pushing, but I'm trying to center myself more in love empathy, community, justice, and all these things to center me, so then that way I can move through these fears. And because if there's one thing that I've learned is facing these fears and obstacles head on, because of the fact that it grows and impacts me covertly, and sometimes overtly too, without me recognizing or realizing. So now I want to work through it versus around it, because I feel like if you work through it, you're meant to go through the path you're meant to be, versus if you go around it, you're avoiding the path that you're supposed to be on. So I think that is what I try to do to minimize the fears and remember who I am and my values of Ubuntu, to keep me centered and grounded in whatever I do.